Jesus to walk with me. I want Jesus to walk with me all along my pilgrim's journey. I want Jesus to walk with me.
Dr. Young's story was that she contacted Dr. Booker T. Washington asking for help for her school, which at that time was in a dire strait of funds in order to continue to survive. Dr. Booker T. Washington could not help her, and he wrote her back and said that he had all that he could handle with Tuskegee Institute at that time, now Tuskegee University. And so, but he said, I know the Lutheran people, the Lutheran Church, they have a good record of providing education, and particular for minorities.
Can you imagine in 1922 she had a dream that something like this could take place in the segregated South? And she worked and she labored, and the stories of how she walked the roads of rural Wilcox County to get this dream started.
A real challenge for Concordia College, Alabama is its mission. By that I mean when Dr. Rosa Young, and you see her statue here, that Dr. Rosa Young is the founder of Concordia College, and she wanted to provide an education for the poorest students in Alabama, to give them an opportunity to become educated and to work in the church. But Rosa Young's vision, as she saw it, was here is where the greatest need exists. And we may have other things going on in the state of Alabama, but somebody's got to take care of Alabama's poorest students. And so the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod saw that and bought into that and accepted that and embraced that. So you now had a historically black college brought in as a part of the university system.
These kids come in, so many are underprepared. They don't know if they can do college. They don't know if they'll be successful. And they get here and they understand that we believe in them. And they understand that they have potential.
My name is Jarrell Pinkston. I'm from Detroit, Michigan originally. And I'm a police officer in Selma, Alabama. Graduated Concordia College 2012. I grew up actually at Concordia. I was still a young kid, knucklehead. I'm from Detroit. Then once I started going to chapel services and stuff, and I actually became a Lutheran when I was attending Concordia, and they kind of molded me into like the guy I am today. I honestly can say that.
Actually, it's a nice place. Yeah, Selma, especially the Concordia College, is like a family. Like the professors, they know you, and they really want to work with you. As long as you're willing to work, to put effort, they will help you out.
Concordia has always been there to help students who may have fallen through the cracks. Concordia still offers that beacon light of hope, that sunshine of possibility, that even when sometimes in your community things are not as we would want them to be, someone has to be there to help those people up. Concordia has been a magnet. People from all over the world has come here to find and gather themselves and to go on and be successful in life.
And to have to stand in front of the faculty and staff and students and say we're closing at the end of this semester is the most painful thing I've experienced in my 50 years in higher education. I mean, that's just tough, you know, you're looking at lives.
I don't know how much of the church is responsible for this. I do believe that we were a mission of the church at one point. And I think maybe their focus on mission changed from, and this is speculation on my part, it changed from the United States to Africa. And we have kids right here who, that mission is important for them. We need an influx either from donors or the church or another source to stay viable. And I think that that's been our problem all along. I know that the church has supported us some years. I know that they've played an integral part. I don't have any answers. So.
We can't raise tuition, which is what first thing you'd do is you'd raise tuition to help fund the school and to make improvements. But you can't do that because the kids can't afford to pay what we got now. I mean, it's $10,000, and a number of our students haven't cleared their balances yet this semester. So you've got that situation. Then you have the alumni where you simply can't go to them. We don't have the numbers, we don't have the wealth there in order to rely on them. And then you look at the declining aspect of the LCMS and how the denomination is shrinking and how people aren't giving as much to the churches, so the churches aren't giving as much to the districts, so the districts can't give to the synod. And it's an overused term, but you've got something of a perfect storm where you can't necessarily get a lot of momentum going, and then at some point, the Board of Regents say, well, maybe we need to put a closing plan together, and as soon as they said those words, I was ethically bound not to raise money, because legally people could say that I was trying to raise it under false pretenses. So it just snowballed into a thing where this is what our reality was. And did it have to do with racism? I don't read men's hearts. I don't know. Everybody has prejudices. Everybody has biases. But was it intentional that we're going to close that school? I can't speak to that. I don't believe that's true just from the people that I've spoken to. But there are a number of people who've talked to other people. So what can you infer from that?
No Board of Regents can close a school. That's in the handbook. Probably the second Bible of the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod. But the handbook states that the chain of command is the Board of Directors is at the top, the Concordia University system, then the Board of Regents of the college and things. And so they have to move up through those particular chains of command. And I know for sure that our Board of Regents has not and did not decide to close this institution. I know that for a fact. And the synodical Board of Directors voted to close this school, and the word got out that they had voted, and then they pulled back and denied that they had decided to do that.
And as much as we want to stay open because of who we are in that spiritual aspect, there's also that business part of it too, where if you can't find the funding, what can you do? And so do I believe that the Board of Directors is somehow intentionally trying to close the college? I don't think they are. And I don't think that they're ignorant of the optics of this. I think if there was a way to do it, they would do it.
So I cannot understand why the importance of this institution, with the influence that it played on the people's lives of this particular area of the country, why our Senate would decide that they're going to close this institution based on a few million, which could have very easily been given had transparency been used to say to our church body, Concordia College, Alabama is in need of help. I call upon our church people to offer that help, but transparency was not offered in terms of the decision, and why they wanted to keep it such a secret is yet to be known.
I know during the throes of, when we were all worried that, things weren't going well and viability and sustainability looked pretty bleak, we had created letters to send out to all churches. And then the attorneys, I guess, from LCMS said that we could not do that. And the letter was pretty explicit, explaining that, this is where we are, this is what we need, or we will no longer be viable. And then we were told that we can't send that out, so. Well, I think what we had said, $500 from each church would get us what we needed. Is that what you heard? Yeah. But we were not allowed to do that. So.
Luckily, we had a career fair or transfer fair a couple weeks ago where universities and colleges from everywhere came, and they, students could fill out applications, get immediately accepted in financial aid and all that. So a lot of them are taken care of. However, there are some that have families and the jobs, and they're taken back and forth between working and studying. Those folks will get affected, impacted with respect to they can't move as easily as the younger students can. So there's students who've come up to me and said, if the school gets saved and reopened, we're coming back. We're gonna keep our fingers crossed and our prayers going. We will come if you stay open. So that's good to hear. The nearest schools would be Montgomery. But a lot of the students who are rooted won't be able to travel back and forth. Montgomery is a long way to go.
Currently, we have about 100 employees. So you have 100 employees that may have to leave Selma to get jobs. Of course, that's going to hurt the economy as well. And then you have about close to 400 students that are going to also leave. So you're looking at 500 individuals that are leaving this city.
We want these kids to go to school, but I know that there's a whole cadre of students that will never get an education now. There's some that just, they're not quite there yet. They don't know that, they don't understand the potential that they embody.
Most of the family that I have now is here in Selma, and they're not biological. That's just the way it is, and this is what actually brought us together, and this is actually what was holding us together, so it's kind of frightening to know what's next, So.
This institution offers a sense of color to the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, and I feel that we need to broadcast that. We need to let it be known that the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod is made up of multi-racial individuals within the world, as far as that matter is concerned. But we have a continent right here in America. We have, African-American people who have never heard the name Jesus, and are we going to turn our backs on an institution that has been saying that for 96 years?
I want Jesus to walk with me. I want Jesus to walk with me all along my pilgrim's journey. I want Jesus to walk with me. becomes a burden. Lord, I want Jesus to walk with me.